Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the GervaisPodcast. I am your host, Stephen Gervais, and today I'm talking about Mad Max. Mad Max is a 1979 Australian dystopian action film directed by George Miller and produced by Byron Kennedy. Mel Gibson stars as Mad Max Rockatansky, a police officer turned vigilante in a near future Australia in the midst of societal collapse. Tim Burns and Roger Ward also appear in supporting roles. James McCausland and Miller wrote the script from a story by Miller and Kennedy. Principal photography for Mad Max took place in and around Melbourne and lasted for 6 weeks. The film initially received a polarized reception upon its release in April of 1979. Although it won 4 AACTA awards, filmed on a budget of 400,000 Australian dollars. It earned more than 1 million US worldwide in gross revenue and set a Guinness record for most profitable film. The success of Mad Max has been credited for further opening the global market to Australian new wave films. Mad Max became the first in the film series, giving rise to 3 sequels: Mad Max 2, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and Mad Max Fury Road. A fifth film titled Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, was announced in 2020. So, the movie Mad Max takes place in a near future dystopian Australia. And it's facing a breakdown of civil order primarily due to widespread oil shortages and ecocide. The Berserk motorcycle gang member Crawford Knight Rider Montezaro kills a rookie officer of the poorly funded Main Force Patrol, one of the last remaining law enforcement agencies, and escapes with his girlfriend in the dead officer's pursuit special. The Knight Rider is able to elude most of the cops and bike cops, but the one cop he can't elude is the aptly named Max Rockatansky, who was played at the time by a very young Mel Gibson. And Knight Rider and his girlfriend later end up in a crash and killed. Well, then we're shown to the biker gang led by the infamous Toe Cutter and his gang of bike marauders and all that. And they arrive at a train station where they pick up the remains or casket of the Knight Rider, and they try and find the police officer who did this, which was Max. Later on, we're shown Max, who has a family. He has a wife and a young son, and he's having delusions of, maybe I need to quit the police force because the criminals are pretty much in charge of everything. They run the roads, and he's just tired of being a police officer, tired of having his life threatened. Just all in order, he wants to leave the police force and have fun with his wife and child. He's later told by his police chief that, hey, the bike gang that you had a run-in with one of their crew, the Knight Rider, they're coming for you. They've threatened you. They're letting it be known that if they find you, they're going to kill you. And Mad Max, or Max, is just like, well, so be it, whatever, and the chief's like, hey, good on you, that's how you should handle it. Later on, we're introduced to one of Max's friends, who is the Goose, one of the motorcycle patrolmen. Well, the Goose and Max happen on a couple that was raped and their vehicle is destroyed by the bike gang. And so they bring in one of the they bring in one of the bad guys named Johnny Boy, and they're like, well, we're gonna bring him somewhere else where he'll stay on trial for the rape of the girl and all that. Well, none of the victims or witnesses show, so they gotta let him go. Johnny Boy later follows the goose to a bar and cuts the goose's radio and uh, his brakes on his bike. And Goose later has a crash. Well, when he goes to bring the bike back in a truck, they ambush the Goose and they burn him to the point where he's literally pretty much dead. And when Max goes to the hospital, he sees what they did to the Goose and says, well, I'm done. I've had enough. I quit. And the police chief's like, no, 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 we need you. You're a hero, Max. The people need their heroes. You can't go. Max takes off with his family, his wife and kid, on a vacation. Well, the bike gang has followed him and his family. They try and rape his wife. The toe cutter, the leader of the motorcycle gang, he makes advances toward Max's wife, and she knees him in the nuts and hits him in the face with an ice cream cone, or smashes ice cream in his face, and takes off. Well, the gang follows Max and them to a farm where they kidnap the baby, and Jessie, Max's wife, and the baby try and get away. Well, the motorcycle gang kills the kid, kills her, and Max suffers a nervous breakdown. He chases the bikers down, starts killing them one by one in his police or pursuit special, which is just a Ford V8 Interceptor. And the rest of the motorcycle gang, being Toe Cutter and a few others, set a trap for Max. They run his arm over, they shoot him in the leg, and so he later bests them, but Toe Cutter's alive, and Toe Cutter takes off. Well, then Max gets in the car, and there's this big, huge chase, which ends in the Toe Cutter hitting a semi and getting killed. Max later runs into Johnny Boy and handcuffs his ankle to a vehicle and lights some gasoline, or lights a lighter near some gasoline, so that when it explodes, it'll kill Johnny Boy. But he tells Johnny Boy, he gives him a saw, and he says, you can saw through your ankle and escape, or you can try and saw through the handcuffs and you're not going to make it. So he gives Johnny Boy at least a chance to live. Well, you see in the distance, Johnny Boy doesn't. And then it leads into Max on the road, just keeps driving and driving and driving, because Max has nothing anymore. Has no wife, has no child, has nothing to really live for. So he pretty much becomes a wanderer. And that's the way the movie ends. It's a very cool movie if you love action road movies. And if you loved what Australia was trying to do back in the day with kind of that Aussie exploitation genre of films they did back in the day, this is definitely a movie you want to watch. And if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. They did make a sequel, which Mad Max in the States bombed terribly in the United States, because we couldn't pick up the dialect of the Australian actors. So Mad Max didn't do very well in its first outing here in the United States. So when they made a Mad Max 2 here in the States, they called it The Road Warrior. And that's another great film. I'll probably do a review on that one. But yes, if you definitely like chase movies and like a guy pushed to the edge to where he's got to fight back, definitely check out Mad Max. It's a great, great movie. Great acting. It stars a very young Mel Gibson, which he's very cool in this movie. But yeah, go check it out. And before we go, I'm going to play the trailer for Mad Max. So let me get that set up right here by sharing the screen, if it'll let me. No, right there.
In the not-too-distant future, there will be no civilization. There will be no heroes.
They say people don't believe in heroes anymore. Well, damn them. Human Max. We're gonna give them back their heroes.
In the not-too-distant future, there will only be madmen and the main force patrol. Max is a main force officer trying to protect his family and stay alive. His only weapon, 600 horses of fuel-injected vengeance. Mad Max, the maximum force of the future.
And there you go. That is the trailer of Mad Max, a movie made back in 1979. Like I said, and if you want me to give you a 1 out of 5 stars, I think this movie's a 4. It is that good. Like I said, you got to get past the dialect, but other than that, it's not really bad. People back in the day were just they're on their high horse. So yeah, that is my review of Mad Max. Also, if you're looking for a few other podcasts, go check out Nonsensical Nonsense. They do a show every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you're looking for a men's mental health show, check out Men Caring for Men, which is on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a men's mental health show where we talk about the male side of dealing with mental health struggles, and we also try and break down the stigmatism dealing with not being able to talk about men having mental health problems. Also, check out me on Twitch on Friday nights at GervaisDemon on Twitch. And go on Thursdays, go check out Talking Shit. That's SHTTT. Mark and Brian. They have some amazing guests. They also do some reviews on stuff. They're a great bunch of guys. And I'll talk to you next time. Love you all. Bye.